My friend, usisahau kusubscribe, kulike na kucomment ili uweze kupata taarifa mbalimbali na maswali pamoja na majibu yake. But for today we are going to look question and answer, which will be involving to how to calculate the nearest neighbor index. B, and to comment on the answer. C, assess the usefulness of the technique given. We have given the figure here. This figure represents many dots on the figure. There is a dot which here there is Mwisi, Mizanza, Mkinga, Karangale, Umoja, Male, Sikonge, Usunga, Tambalale, and the symbol. And this scale we have given. Now we are going to answer this question. Solution. Now we are going to formulate table of nearest neighbor index. We will draw like this one. Then will be name of point of settlement. Nearest neighbor index. Distance in centimeter. Now when we look Mwisi, we have what? We have Mwisi, Mizanza, Mkinga, Karangale, Umoja, Male, Sikonge, Usunga, Tambale, and the symbol. Now we look what is the nearest neighbor index of Mwisi. Go directly to Mwisi. When you see at the Mwisi here, we look which point is near with this point. Okay, which point is near with this point? When we go here, this is the distance is very long when we compare with this distance. And also when we look from here up to here, it is very long distance. Now the nearest neighbor index of Mwisi will be Mizanza. That's why here I have written Mizanza. And the nearest index of Mizanza will be what? Of Mizanza will be Mwisi. Now what is the nearest neighbor index of Mkinga? Mkinga, where is Mkinga? Mkinga is here. Now when we look the distance from here and here and any point from this one that is Mkinga, the near point will be Karangale. Now that's why I have written the nearest neighbor index of Mkinga is Karangale. Also the Karangale nearest neighbor index will be Mkinga. And the nearest index of Umoja will be Karangale. And the nearest index of Mare will be Sikonge. And the nearest index of Sikonge will be Mare. And the nearest index of Usunga will be Sikonge. Nearest index of Usunga will be Sikonge. And the nearest index of Tambalale will be symbol. Nearest index of Tambalale will be symbol. And the nearest index of symbol from here, nearest index of here is what? Tambalale. Now we are going to look the distance from this one to this one, this one to this one. Light low here, which is column this which represent distance in centimeter. When you see this one, we are required to measure the distance. Let us measure the distance from where? From Mwisi to Mizanza. Mwisi to Mizanza. When you put here the distance from Mwisi to Mizanza, we get 1.5. That's why I have written here 1.5, but in form of centimeter. And when you look the distance from Mizanza to Mwisi, Mizanza to Mwisi, I have measured, which is we have got 1.5. What is the distance from Mkinga to Karangare? Mkinga is here. Mkinga is here. When you measure by ruler, we get what? 1.5 also. Now we get from the Nkinga at Kalangale will be 1.5 what? Centimeter. And the distance from Kalangale to Nkinga will be the same, 1.5. The distance from Umoja to Kalangale will be 2. Umoja to Kalangale, you measure from Umoja to Kalangale, or from Kalangale to what? To Umoja. From Kalangale to Umoja, we look what? 2. That's why I've written what? 2 centimeter here. But Male to Sikonge will be 1.8. Sikonge to Male 1.8 also. Usunga to Sikonge 2.0. Tambalale to Simbo 1.0. Simbo to Tambalale. Now, what is the n? Number of points. Number of points, we account this or here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's why I have written n is equal to 10. Now, this distance, when you add them, you get 15.6, but in form of centimeter. Okay? Yes. Now we are going. Let us continue. Now, from Rn is equal to D OBS over D, meaning D RAN. But D meaning OBS is equal to summation of D over N. D is equal to 1.6 centimeter. We have seen here. This is what? Summation of D, distance in centimeter. That's where here I have written what? I have written 15.6 centimeter, but change the centimeter into kilometer. But from scale of map, change this one 50,000 centimeter into kilometer. But we know that 1 kilometer is equal to 100,000 centimeter. Now here, now we are required to change this one. When you put here 50,000 centimeter will be x. When you times x times this one, you get this one is equal to 1 kilometer times this one, you get this one. Divide by this one in order to get x. When you divide by this one, 0 and 0 to cancel out. When you simplify 5 by 5, 1 by 5, 2. That's why I have written 1 over 2 kilometer. That's why it will be 1 centimeter will represent a half kilometer. Now change 15.6 centimeter into kilometer. 1 centimeter is equal to a half kilometer. That's why it will be how many? If there we have 15.6 centimeter is equal to how many kilometer? Now what we are required? We are required to take this and divide by 2. X is equal to 15.6 times 1 over 2. That's is equal to 15.6 over 2, which we get 7.80 kilometer. But therefore, summation of D is equal to 7.80 in kilometer. But N is equal to 10. Now D meaning OBS is equal to summation of D over N, which is will be 7.8 kilometer over 10, which will be 0.778 kilometer. Now let us continue. Look, for D Rn 1 over 2 square root n over a, but a is length times width. How to get length? Length here, go to your map or figure. This is the length. This is the length. So we are required to measure this length and also to measure this width. Here, let me measure in centimeter form from 0 to here will be 10 centimeter. Length, now length will be what? 10 centimeter. But how about width? Width we measure width measure, which will be 0 to 6. Now will be 60 centimeter. Now width will be 60 centimeter. Now change this centimeter into kilometer. From 1 centimeter is equal to half kilometer. 10 centimeter is equal to x. Now x is equal to 10 times a half in kilometer, which will be length is 5 kilometer and the width is 6 centimeter. When you change, you get what? 3 kilometer. Width is 3 kilometer. Now area is length times width. 5 kilometer times 6 kilometer, which will be 15 kilometer square. Now D mean RAN is equal to 1 over 2 square root of N is what? Is 10. 10 over 15 kilometer square. When you simplify, you get 1.63 kilometer. For Rn, which is the nearest neighbor index, will be D or B over D mean RAN is equal to, this one you have already got, which is 0.78 kilometer over 1.63 kilometer, but kilometer and kilometer will cancel out, which will be 0.48. Therefore nearest neighbor index will be 0.48. Now we continue. B. Now we are going to look for B. Question B. Question B, which is that comment on the answer. How to comment the answer? To comment the answer, 0.48. 0.48 when approximate will be 0. This is the answer is close to 0, and when approximate it is 0, therefore there is a cluster distribution of point of settlement. For C, now we are required to find what? For C, also the useful of the technique. Useful of the technique will be it is used in comparison of 2 or more distribution of data. Also used to assess the probable influences of environmental factors on locations. Over. Now my friends, don't forget to subscribe, like and comment my YouTube channel, because I'm going to provide different questions, many questions, how to solve, also index of dispersion and other questions. So don't forget to subscribe, like and comment in order to get different questions. Now over.